So about the actually about the spiritual warfare that I had in 2022, no matter, even after my friend had prayed for me, it still recurred. And that is when I decided to do a 3-day fast, a dry fast. And something funny, just before I started, I became sick. And so I decided that I wasn't going to stop no matter what. I was I was so desperate. I had lost hope. I didn't even mind about losing my life. And so I could, okay, I used to have dreams of me being in, seeing myself in my previous schools, primary schools or high school. And mind you, I had just gone back to advance. And so just after my FQE, I had to prepare myself for the nursing council exams. And that is when I had it rough. I could see myself, whenever I could see myself writing exams, either incomplete, or the examiner will come to pick the papers and find that I had not finished. It happened like twice. I could go sit for the exam, and then just before it's released, I'll also have another dream of I having failed. And it happened like twice. And so for the third time, it was really bad, because like I wasn't that, it is something that I had done earlier. I wasn't new to these exams. I had never failed like that in my life. And I just wondered what was happening and how. And I just did what I did. I used to study. I just did my part. But okay. And so when I, just after my dry fast, I read this book, Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 1. It says that that on that on my 30th year, in the 4th month of the fifth day, while I was among the captives by the Kebar River, the heavens were opened and I saw visions of God. And so at that time, in 2022, I was 27, 28. I believed that scripture. I knew that was God talking to me. And I really yearned to turn the edge, or to reach the age of 30. It also made me know that whatever I was going through will one day come to pass. And it did. And so I also had another dream of a pastor praying for me. I had like some coins, and he told me that the money that I had in my hand was cursed. So he prayed for me and delivered me. And then the same day, The results were out and I had passed. Okay. So this is 2024. Something great happened in our home. A dove just came and early this year, and it has never left our home. And also, I came to realize that there was nothing wrong with what the SDK did to me. Just because different churches have different policies, rules, and laws, it doesn't make someone to be like, it doesn't mean that they're not worshiping God or they're not good churches. At times, when something wrong happens, at times you just need to know that you're on the wrong and it was okay. So I healed. I realized that it was good for me to go back to church. And so in my thinking, I thought that I will be safe with PAG. But I remember I shared it with one of my friends, and there was a day she called me, asked if I had started going to church, but I don't know. And so I had this neighbor. They fellowship at Sitam Church, Kisumu. I asked her about their church, and I'm glad that. So I asked her about their church, and so I had the fear of going to church, to just any church, because I didn't want to get messed up with my spirituality and the hunger that I had for God. Because we all know that there are churches that don't worship God. So I went to Google, did some research, and also had to pray. I prayed about it, and I'm glad that God answered my prayers. How did he answer my prayers? So there's this day niliamka vizuri, nikatafuta nguo ya kwenda church, nikaiweka hapo, and guess what? I don't know what came over me, because I never made it to church that day. And when Naomi came to pick me up, I failed her. And so when she went to church, I told her, next time, kindly, do whatever you can do to help me go to church. And so okay, it was on a Wednesday of the same of the first Sunday I happened to attend the Sitam service. Nilikuwa nimebeba jug kwa mkono, and I don't know what came over me, because it just slipped off my fingers and it fell down. Ikapasuka, and it broke. And then after some few minutes, I had sent someone to go and help me refill water. So I had to go and pick it up. Nikirudi nilianguka kwa mlango. Like it was that bad because I took like 7 weeks for my knee to heal. I couldn't even fold it, and I knew this was serious. Sunday came. I went to church. And so, about the revelation that I had with the scripture, it was as it said that on your 30th year, the fourth month and the 5th day. Actually, it was in April when I went to church. The only difference between 5th, it was that I went there on fast, a difference of 4 days only. After attending the service, I just felt like that is where my heart belongs. And I joined the discipleship class like immediately. I went there with my daughter, and I'm glad that my daughter came to love the church because it's lively, it's present, it's practical. So after the Sunday service, I met a friend of mine who saw me limping, and she told me like, is it because your heart, that is why you wanted to go to church, you've decided to go to church? And that it kind of hurt me because she didn't know how much I had prayed for that long to find a good church. I'm not happy about what happened or bragging or what, but the same, on a Monday after that Sunday, she had laughed at me. She was involved in an accident and she had a knee injury that also took her a while to get healed. And that was not enough. She got attacked by armed robbers and they stole her money, and it was a good sum of money, and they wanted to kill her. She really pleaded with them and they spared her life. And so she told me that when she got to her house, she didn't cry because her money had been stolen and everything taken away, the phones and everything. She cried because God had saved her life, and it was a time that most M-Pesa agents were being killed. Okay, let's not talk about her now. And from that time, every day she closes her shop and goes to worship God. Okay, I also had another friend of mine who told me that Sitam Church is not a good church. And so it's kind of pissed me off. I got scared a little bit. Not a little bit, I got scared because that made me to fast again. So I remember the second Sunday as I left, before I left for church, I woke up at 12 a.m. in the morning, prayed as usual, read my Bible, woke up again at 3 a.m., prayed, read my Bible, went back to sleep. When I went back to sleep, I had a dream that I was in a church, a very big church, and haikuwa imemalizwa kujenga the floor. So nikiwapo, we were a small congregation, tulikuwa watu wachache sana, and my phone rang, so I walked out to receive that call. When I came back, I found that walikuwa wanachanga pesa. They were making contributions to build the church. And so in my hand, I had only 10 shillings. And so I looked around, I was asking myself, how are we going to build this church? The money I have is so little, and the members are less. And then, just as I was thinking about it, I saw many people coming from afar, and they were coming to contribute to have the church built. And I woke up. I was damn broke. I didn't even have fare to help me go to the church. And I just asked God, what is this? I even shared with Naomi. I told her about the dream. And we just laughed about it. And we went. They had a motorbike, so they carried me to church. And before that, I had lied to my sister that I didn't have gas, and that if she had some little money, she send so that I go buy charcoal or refill a cocoa gas. I have a cocoa gas too. But that is the money that I used to pay offering that day. She sent me, was it 150 or 100 bob? I went to church. And what happened is that the pastor who was preaching that day, Pastor Mlunda, preached about Jonah. And after preaching about Jonah, he said that if you know that you came to this church, you left a small church and came to this big church to hide, and you really know that you have a calling to serve God, kindly come in front. Come to the altar, I pray for you. I don't know what came over me because I just stood up and went. That was, it was something that I really knew that was God. And the whole day I just cried. I don't know, I didn't cry because of the things that I was going through. I just cried because I knew that God was guiding my steps, and I could not hide anymore. Okay. And so, okay, I also had to be baptized. So when the time came for baptismal, I also prayed to God, because I'm at a point in life and I will never want to make a wrong choice. I'd want to be, if I had to make anything right or go wrong, I always pray that it always happened in the presence of God. Because in this life, you can never be that wise enough or strong enough to live by yourself or make decisions by yourself. And so that day, I woke up as usual, prayed, and I read the book of Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3